I want to show you how you can get lean visible abs and bicep veins to the best of your ability, depending on where your body fat is, within 4 weeks. Now, I'm not always about quick turnarounds, but if you need something fast within 4 weeks, watch this video and focus on these protocols. Nothing too crazy. You don't need to follow like a crazy diet or training routine, but focus on these things and it's gonna help you. And then once you get lean, you take off your shirt in the summertime, you're like, oh damn, boy, I look good. You need to then remind yourself, I'm gonna remind you that this is a lifestyle. You need to incorporate this as a lifestyle. You need to maintain it because you put in all this hard work, you need to then maintain it. So I'm gonna briefly go into that and explain how. Most guys who try to get lean for summer end up just back at the bar, smashing beers and burgers. I used to think that looking lean for summer meant like, see you later, boys. You're not going to see me. I can't hang out with you guys anymore and say goodbye to the date nights because that's out the window because I'm trying to get lean, visible abs for summer. But you have to do it strategically. Imagine waking up 4 weeks from now and you're like, damn, like the muscle looks a little bit dense. I'm a little bit tighter. I look leaner. I feel a little bit more confident without obsessing over this magical fat loss routine. Think of your body like a thermostat, not a thermometer. You don't react to summer. You set the standard before it hits. But here's the real question. Do you have a plan or are you winging it? And it's okay if you're winging it, bro. I've been there before too. But a lot of the guys that I've helped one-on-one through my coaching program, they were winging it as well. And they were making a little bit of progress. And then we just dialed in on the plan and we're gonna talk about some things that you can focus on in this video. All right, so what's more important, nutrition or training? What should you focus on? I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Both are equally important. However, I think you should put more of a priority towards nutrition. And I'm gonna give it like a 80% nutrition, 20% training. So that means if you're really busy, let's say throughout the week, and you're like, dude, I cannot get a gym session in, make sure you get your meals in. If you skip the gym session, okay, but don't miss out on your meals. You're gonna aim for 0.7 to 1% of total body weight loss per week to preserve your muscle. So that's why you need to start weighing in every single day to take your total weight, add them up, and then say, cool, this is my average weight this week. Let's lose another 1%. Next, let's do a moderate deficit. Now, we're talking around 15 to even 25%. Now, if you're really looking to move here in 4 weeks, you could do a 25% caloric deficit off your maintenance. Now, this is gonna be quite hard. And this is why I'm gonna say to you guys, you need to stick to the single ingredient power food list. This is what I call it. I give it to my guys. All these foods are going to kick cravings, keep you satiated. A lot of micronutrients. So yes, you could do flexible dieting and try to fit in maybe like a burger at a burger joint and still lose weight. But I'm telling you, if you stick to these types of foods, it's gonna be a lot easier for you in the long run. Protein, of course, keep it between 1 gram per body pound. That's like the magical rule. You can bump it up to 1.2. The leaner you get, preferably, you should be eating a little bit more protein to preserve your muscle. Fat, you're gonna keep it between 20 to 30% of the total calories that you're eating, and then carbs, you're just gonna fill the rest with your total calories. Now, training, you're gonna focus on progressive overload. Now, if you're eating less food, you're hypocaloric. Can you get stronger? Depends on the person. However, you're not eating a lot of food. You're not in a surplus. So your main goal shouldn't be to get stronger. It should be to preserve your strength as much as possible. This is a big one. This is what I mean by strategy, strategically planning it. Now, carb cycles. If you've never heard of a carb cycle, that's when you're eating less carbs on certain days and more carbs on other days. So for example, if you have a rest day, you're not training in the gym, you don't really need the carbohydrates. Carbs are great for performance and recovery, but if you're not training that day, you can have less carbs. On a day where you're training and maybe you're trying to keep a lot of your strength in a certain area, for example, like your chest, you can have a little bit more carbs if you want. Or now, this is what I talk about going out. If you know you got an event coming up and you're like, damn, like I don't really want to miss this event. I feel like I still want to enjoy myself a little bit though, then that's when you can plan a higher carb day and then lower carb days to your advantage. So typically what I do is I have low carb days when I'm not training. I tend to do a little bit more cardio on those days. And then I have high carbs on days where I want to preserve as much muscle and as much strength. And then if I'm going out, let's say I take the wife out, we go for dinner, perfect. I'm having more carbs, but I still choose healthier choices. So volume and intensity. Volume, as weeks progress to week 4, you should increase your volume, the amount of reps you're doing, move the body more. Intensity might slip though, it might go down. What I mean by intensity is you might not have the energy to push a lot of weight because you're eating low calories. So usually what I do in the first 2 exercises. If I'm doing exercise 1, 3 sets, exercise 2, 3 sets, those total 6 sets, I'm really trying to keep my intensity high, maybe lower reps, and the rest of my exercises, I'm increasing the volume through the roof. Next up, recovery. Don't sleep on recovery. This is huge, my man. This is huge. A lot of people are just like, drop the calories, do a lot of cardio, and train really hard. But then, yes, but you're also gonna feel like crap. So, recovery. Don't overdo your cardio. It's a tool, all right? So focus on your food, 80% food. However, when you do come down to doing cardio, keep in mind that your body's always burning calories. However, we can use cardio to our advantage to burn a little bit extra calories. So there's EAT, exercise activity thermogenesis. So that's what you're doing to burn calories. So typically I set targets between 1,000 to maybe even 2,000 calories of EAT or burn through the week. So if I'm doing let's say, very simple, if I'm doing an incline treadmill or a Stairmaster, 500 calories per session, I need to do 4 sessions to hit 2,000 calories for the week. So in the first few weeks, start doing cardio, but just don't slam it. Just set a target you can stick to, okay? 80% nutrition, 20% training. Monitor your sleep and energy. I say sleep, like underline it because this is huge. Sleep, if you are having a bad sleep, your ghrelin hormone, your hunger hormone is going to go through the roof. You're going to be really stressed out and you're not going to be able to maintain to the diet. At least that's what I found for myself and a lot of guys that I coach. And what I've done in the past is if guys are dialed in with their nutrition and their training and they're still not losing weight and they're not getting leaner, the body composition is not changing, I ask them in every check-in, how's your sleep? And they're like, well, it is pretty bad. Work stress is high. Okay, we need to focus on sleep. They focus on sleep going into the next week and then boom, they drop like 3 to 4 pounds. And yet they're still dialed in. So sleep is a priority. This is very, very important. Space out your training as much as you can. So instead of doing an upper day, day 1, day 2, another upper day, your recovery might be not as optimal because you're not eating as many calories to help with the recovery process. So space out, do upper body day 1, day 2, lower, day 3, you could take a rest. And then day 4, upper body. So space it out, don't overcomplicate it. Next, track your weight daily. This is what I was saying before. So you're gonna track your weight, you're gonna add up all your weights to then get your weekly average. So then you can see if you're losing 0.7 to 1% total body weight per week. And what you might find in the first week is you're actually losing weight more than 1% because it's more water weight. And then week 2, 3, and 4 will be a different story. But yes, track your weight daily. And remember, guys, like the scale is just a tool. So if you have an emotional connection to the scale, I totally get it. But remember, it's a tool. It doesn't control you. It's just a piece of plastic with batteries in it. And then last, progress photos. Make sure you're viewing your body composition, what you look like, because you might not be losing weight. However, you're like, damn, like those bicep veins are coming in, bro. I'm actually looking pretty damn good. The body composition might change. So everyone's different. Everybody responds different. And last, what do you do after you get lean? 4 weeks goes by, you're like, holy smokes, I've lost some weight, I look better, I feel better. You need to reverse diet. You need to build your calories back up to ensure that you're not staying at a very low calorie point, hypocaloric. You need to, every single week, build the calories up by 100 calories or 150 calories. So if you start at 2,300 calories and within 4 weeks you end at 1,700, just saying as a rough estimate, you want to go 1,700, 1,800 the next week, 1,950 the next week. You want to slowly build it up. If you just start eating a crazy amount of food and gorging yourself, then yeah, you're going to go back to the starting point within like a week. So that's it for me. Nothing too crazy. You don't need to follow crazy diets or training splits, but you need to be aware. Most of the time, you need to be looking at more variables like your sleep, your stress, your nutrition, your training, your recovery, but don't overcomplicate it. The body likes to play games. Remember that. But try your best this summer. It's right around the corner. It's time to take off your shirt, look ripped, feel good, feel confident, and then maintain that. So that's it for me. Hope you liked the video, and I'll see you guys around.